Media shakeup. Independent voices drown out CBC at French debate presser. The recent French debate in Canada showcased a significant shift in the media landscape, as independent outlets like Countersignal, True North, and Rebel News outmaneuvered traditional media giants like the CBC. This change not only highlights the evolving dynamics of political discourse in Canada, but also raises questions about the control of narratives in the age of information. The aftermath of the debate revealed a new chapter in Canadian journalism, one where independent voices are increasingly taking center stage. The real drama unfolded in the scrums following the debate, where independent journalists seized the opportunity to ask pointed questions that legacy media seemed unprepared for. Keenan Beaksey from Countersignal led the charge, catching Liberal leader Mark Carney off guard with direct inquiries about his predecessor, Justin Trudeau. Carney's response was lackluster, filled with vague platitudes about shared values and a noticeable avoidance of specifics. This moment underscored a growing frustration among voters who are seeking clarity and accountability from their leaders. Mark Carney, who recently took over as Prime Minister and leader of the Liberal Party, faced significant challenges during the debate. His attempts to communicate in French were met with criticism, as many francophones found his delivery awkward and difficult to follow. This language barrier became a focal point, especially as his opponents, including Pierre Poilievre and Yves-François Blanchet, capitalized on his discomfort to deliver sharp critiques. Carney's struggles in French were not just a matter of language, but also highlighted a deeper issue: his perceived disconnect from the electorate. Carney's proposals, such as the ambitious plan to build 500,000 affordable homes through a new initiative called Build Canada Homes, were met with skepticism. Critics pointed out that his funding sources were vague, with Carney throwing out figures like $25 billion in public money without a clear plan for implementation. Poilievre effectively countered these claims, reminding voters that these were the same empty promises made by Trudeau over the past decade, during which Carney served as an economic advisor. This back and forth not only clarified the stakes of the housing crisis, but also exposed the inadequacies of Carney's proposals. The presence of independent media at the debate highlighted a growing discontent with traditional outlets like the CBC. Journalists from these independent platforms were able to ask tough questions that resonated with many Canadians, who feel that their concerns are often overlooked by mainstream media. For instance, when Rebel News inquired about the number of genders, Carney's hesitant response revealed a disconnect with the electorate, further fueling the narrative that he is out of touch. His reluctance to provide a straightforward answer not only raised eyebrows but also reflected a broader issue many Canadians face: the struggle for their leaders to engage with sensitive topics in a meaningful way. Jagmeet Singh, leader of the New Democratic Party, also struggled during the post-debate scrums. His refusal to engage with questions from Rebel News, labeling them as disinformation, made him appear evasive and weak. This tactic backfired, as it only served to amplify the independent media's role in shaping the conversation. Singh's attempts to sidestep challenging questions about his support for internet censorship and his handling of the attacks on Christian churches only further alienated voters who were looking for honest dialogue. In contrast, Pierre Poilievre emerged as a formidable presence during the debate. His straightforward responses to questions about deporting foreign nationals who incite hate resonated with many voters who prioritize safety and national integrity. Poilievre's commitment to prioritizing Canadians first and addressing domestic issues struck a chord, especially as he criticized the Liberal government's handling of housing affordability and taxation. His assertiveness and clarity were in stark contrast to the vagueness exhibited by Carney, effectively positioning him as the candidate with actionable plans. Poilievre's rebuttals to Singh's claims about housing construction were particularly effective, as he highlighted the significant number of homes built under his watch, countering Singh's narrative with hard facts. This exchange showcased Poilievre's ability to connect with voters on pressing issues, further solidifying his position as a strong contender in the election. His emphasis on practical solutions, such as eliminating the GST on new homes and speeding up permitting processes, resonated with many Canadians frustrated by rising housing costs and bureaucratic red tape. The debate also brought to light the contentious issue of foreign aid. Both Carney and Singh supported the idea of providing $100 million to Gaza through UNRWA, despite concerns that some UNRWA staff may have been involved in recent Hamas attacks. While they insisted this was humanitarian aid, many Canadians expressed outrage at the prospect of taxpayer money funding questionable foreign organizations when pressing issues like homelessness and addiction persist in their own communities. This disconnect between government priorities and public sentiment underscored a broader concern: the need for leaders to focus on domestic issues before extending financial support abroad. The shift towards independent media voices in Canadian political discourse signals a potential transformation in how political narratives are shaped and communicated. As voters increasingly turn to alternative sources for information, traditional media outlets like the CBC may need to reassess their strategies to remain relevant in a rapidly changing landscape. The fallout from the French debate illustrates the importance of accountability and transparency in politics. As Canadians prepare to head to the polls, the demand for clear, actionable plans from their leaders will only grow stronger. The ability of independent media to challenge established narratives will play a crucial role in shaping the political landscape in the lead-up to the election. This newfound prominence of independent voices highlights a critical shift in public trust, as more Canadians seek out diverse perspectives that reflect their own experiences and concerns. The debates and discussions emerging from this election cycle are likely to be influenced by this evolving media environment, where traditional narratives are increasingly contested. The evolving role of independent media is particularly significant in an era characterized by information overload and misinformation. Many Canadians are becoming more discerning consumers of news, seeking out sources that align with their values and provide them with the information they feel is relevant. This shift is forcing traditional media outlets to adapt to the changing landscape as they compete for audience attention against a backdrop of rising skepticism toward established institutions. The impact of social media cannot be understated in this context. Platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram have become vital tools for independent journalists and commentators to disseminate their views and engage with the public. These platforms allow for immediate feedback and interaction, enabling independent voices to bypass traditional gatekeepers and directly reach their audience. The speed and accessibility of social media also mean that a single well-posed question or a controversial statement can quickly gain traction, amplifying the reach of independent media. Moreover, as voters prepare for the upcoming election, they are increasingly aware of the importance of engaging with a variety of viewpoints. This dynamic is transforming the political landscape, as candidates who fail to engage with independent media risk alienating significant segments of the electorate. The ability to communicate effectively and address the concerns raised by independent voices will be crucial for any candidate hoping to secure support in the coming months. In conclusion, the recent debate not only highlighted the challenges faced by Mark Carney and his Liberal Party, but also underscored the rising influence of independent media in Canadian politics. As the election approaches, the dynamics of this media shakeup will undoubtedly continue to impact the political discourse across the country. Voters are more engaged than ever, seeking genuine dialogue and accountability from their leaders. The landscape is changing, and with it, the potential for a more transparent, responsive political environment that prioritizes the needs and voices of all Canadians. The ongoing evolution of media in Canada will be pivotal in shaping not only the upcoming election but also the future of political engagement in the country.